Hello, everybody. Welcome again. I am here for another live chat. This is Nights with Nora, and I have a special guest with me here tonight. Her name is Andrea Rolle, and she is here to speak to us today, you guys. And we are so excited to have her. She has an organization of her own as well that she does here on Facebook. She has a podcast as well, and she does that about relationships. I think right now she's doing a series on dating in your 40s. Is that right, Andrea?
Yes.
And so she knows all things relationships, and she has been doing this for quite some time. And I have been watching her, and we spoke earlier off camera, guys, and I've been watching her show, and I am a fan of what she's doing and the conversation she's had. And I just wanted to bring her over to Girl Talk Nation, guys, and we're going to hear from her tonight. We're going to be talking about some very important things, some very heavy things, I guess, sometimes, that people don't discuss. They kind of avoid this, and that's reconciliation and acceptance. And those are two powerful words, and she's going to bring some clarity to you ladies, hopefully tonight, with those two things in mind. So if you guys will lean into her and listen to the things she has to say on reconciliation and acceptance, because it's two things that's been very hard for me, so I needed to bring it home today. But Miss Andrea, I'll let you introduce yourself a little more and tell the folks a little bit more about who you are and what you have been doing this year.
Oh my goodness. So thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure. So I appreciate it. I'm a fan of yours too. So I love it. Anyway, so my name's Andrea Rolle. I've been married for 17 years, a long time. Like most of my adult life, I've been married. I've got 3 handsome boys, 14, 11, and 7. And last year was kind of a challenging year for me. And it was really interesting that you asked me to speak on acceptance and reconciliation, because I had this issue that I just could not get resolved. And it made me so upset that I started talking about relationships.
Wow.
I did. And I was like, people need relationships. People need other people. And we just jumped in. My first interview was with my mom, and we had a really crazy situation where she had gotten in the middle of something that was going on between my husband and I, and it blew up. Blew up, and it took us forever to get back together again, but we did. So, I mean, it's just been seeing other people's journeys, hearing from other people's stories, and just seeing how they have had really challenging times and then come back again. Right. It's just been amazing. So 2020, even though it seemed like hell on earth and the 10th level of Jumanji, I mean, it really was a good year for me in learning more about relationships and more about people.
Absolutely. I can totally agree with you on that. 100%. I learned so much about not only myself, but other folks too. But I think a lot of times we don't get to spend enough time with ourselves, because we're ripping and running. And when the world shuts down and you don't have anywhere to go, nowhere to be, you're forced to face yourself, right? You're forced to look at your relationships and the people that are in your life and what you've allowed in your life. And that really, you kind of like reading a book, but it's your own story.
Yes.
That you haven't read in a long time. Like, this is me. I don't even know who this person is, so I got to go do some research about her. And so through that time, I can totally agree. And not only did I crack open my friendships, I cracked open my own, the way that I was moving throughout the earth and who I was as a human being and what relationships, were bringing for me. And definitely reconciliation had to happen. It's so funny that I brought this subject up with you, because my reconciliation came because I fell out with an aunt of mine. With my auntie 5 years ago, right when I started Rhema. She was completely against women. Rhema Bible Training College, for you guys who don't know. It's a Bible training school. And I was there as a student, and I was pursuing ministry. And she did not agree with women being ministers. So we completely fell out. And I was fine with that. I was like, she's mean and she doesn't believe what I do. And that's fine with me. I'm good. I'm living my life. I'm cutting them off. whatever, everybody's talking about cutting toxic people and family don't matter. And so look, I'm about to jump on the bandwagon, but something just did not sit right with me. You know what I'm saying? Something about that situation and just throwing my aunt in the trash can did not sit right with me. Because she was wrong for what she said, and it wasn't right that she was pursuing, talking to her niece that way. But I didn't feel like that was okay. Like I needed to go back and reconcile that, not necessarily even on a friendship level, but to sort things out and hear her out, and maybe not agree with her, but just get it off my conscience. Forgive, forget, and not maybe forget, that's a strong word, but definitely forgive. Something needed to happen there, and I didn't really know what. But when the quarantine and the pandemic happened, I was like forced to see myself and what pride I had in that situation. So I am so happy that we're getting to talk about acceptance and reconciliation. I think they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So can you define for us what acceptance is before we get started?
So I was racking my brain. Okay, what is acceptance? Most people think about acceptance as I just have to accept this circumstance. I just have to take whatever life throws me. And a lot of times people kind of reject acceptance because it just seems like you're passive. It seems like, these are my circumstances and I just got to live with them. But acceptance is something a little bit deeper than that. It goes beyond the surface and it says, okay, these circumstances are happening to me and I accept that they are happening to me.
Ooh, that's good.
Right? So that's big. It's not a passivity. It's actually looking at a reality that you may not necessarily like. Okay, so let's jump into it. My husband and I, we were married 13 years, and I realized that he wasn't the person that I married.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All this time I've gone along. Nora and I were talking about it a little bit. I've gone along. I'm asking, I'm like, who are you? What happened to you? A little bit. Like, I don't know what's going on. And we've been on Relationships Matter, and we've talked about our story pretty candidly. So we are just kind of going along. I'm in love with this man. I've done everything. I've moved states.
Ooh,
I am head over feet for this guy. Okay. Right. Like if he would have, if he would ask me to commit a crime, I wouldn't have committed a crime, but
definitely. Yes,
anything that he wanted from me, I would have done. Right.
Yeah. To try to, anything that you can do within your power.
Anything in my power to fix the relationship, to push him forward, to see him, reach his call and his destiny. I was all for it. I'm all in.
Right.
And we hit 13 years and something rolls up on the inside of me. Like, what's going on? And you know what I said? The thing that I said, because, we've been to Bible school and we love Jesus. I said, Satan, I rebuke you in Jesus.
Because we always think
right? And this thing is like insane. Like, I'm like, I don't even know why I'm feeling like this. I have no idea why this rage, this has come up, like this disgust that I have towards my husband. Like, I don't even know why that's there. Like, I love him. So I dismissed it.
Yes.
Okay. And I was like, okay. Well, we'll just go along. And I started quoting scriptures and just, we're going to be okay. And it's going to be wonderful. And from that moment on, we went through the rockiest time ever. Wow. From 13 years of marriage all the way up until 16 years of marriage.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a long time.
Was like, 2020 was hell on earth, but that was hell on earth too. It was hell on earth version number 1.
Oh my God. That's interesting. And I did not know that was happening. So
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. But I had to accept that I didn't have this fairy tale marriage. My relationship wasn't all that I thought it was, and it almost drove me nuts, literally. Nora?
My phone went away. Go ahead. Say what you said just one more time because I might have missed it.
It's okay. I said when I looked at the reality of where we were, I thought that I had this fairy tale marriage.
Right.
And it almost drove me insane. Like literally. And I felt like my foundation, the bedrock, everything that I had built and put my faith in was gone.
Wow.
I was completely devastated. I mean, just the turmoil that we were experiencing at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
While I was going through Rhema. Anyway.
Were you a student? Like, how were you processing all that as a student?
I was just sitting in the classes.
Right. Wow.
Help me, Lord, get through this. Like, really.
Right.
But I had to accept the fact of all of these things that were coming to the surface, all of these things that we were having to really face head on.
Wow.
And accept them. I couldn't change them. I had to face it and accept it and say, my marriage is not necessarily what I wanted it to be, but this is where we are.
How hard was that for you?
Like I said, it almost killed me. Like I was not mentally stable at the time. If it hadn't been for Rhema, I probably would have went off the deep end. Right. But being in those classes, not necessarily saying Rhema as an institution saved my life. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the fact that I have put myself in a position to hear some sound teaching and be around really safe people, if that makes sense. Safe meaning people that were not preying on the fact that I was vulnerable at the time. Mm-hmm. So being around people that were encouraging me and building me up and encouraging me to go forward helped. But it was still hard. It was still really hard to feel like this is what I've believed all this time. I think that's the hard part about acceptance. Yeah. Because it's hard to feel like your foundation and everything that you know is not true.
Right. This is so good. I literally give my life. Like, I want to cry. Like, I'm so serious. You know what? Because I think that's what makes acceptance so hard for people, because it's a shattering of your reality of what you want to be happening. Mm-hmm. You're wishing that this was your life and you hope that this is what is happening, but you know in your heart that that is not the case, but maybe everyone around you may not know. And you've lived in this circle or in this thought process for so long that you've even convinced yourself that it's real. Even though you know you're not. I mean, I remember growing up that I had to like remind myself, because I would go to school. I was from an abusive home, and I would go to school and pretend like my life was not like that. I would go to school and act like my dad was not an alcoholic and that people were not being beat up and all kind of mean things happening to me at home. And I would go to school and smile and laugh, and I would be the loudest person at school or very quiet. I would go through these seasons where I would be super bubbly and friendly, or I would just go off and be shy, but never a time where I was full of rage or anger. So nobody ever knew that anything was ever happening. I was either the sweet, shy girl or the loud, opinionated lady, but never the abused daughter or child of an alcoholic. And I would write journals about my situations to remind myself of what was happening, because I was so far repressing it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I didn't want to accept anything that was happening to me. So I would block it, block. I still, to this day, people will tell me stories about my childhood, and I would have to say, oh yeah, I remember that, because I blocked it and shut it down so much. And as I grew older, I did that in my adult life too. If this doesn't fit my narrative, or if this doesn't feel safe for me, I'm going to block it. I'm going to pretend like it's not happening. I'm not accepting this. You know, you get a friend and they start acting shady towards you or weird or mean. And you're like, okay, that's not happening. It's an excuse. You know, she might've been tired. You start making excuses for people and excusing them because you don't want to accept the reality of what happened. She's mean.
Yeah.
You know, I can't accept that, you know, and even in my business, as I grow, I'm like, I can't accept that my friends aren't supporting me. They're busy. They can't, nor they just don't like it, you know, and you have to accept things. So this is so good. Please continue. I'm sorry. I just had to kind of bring that home for myself, but I love it.
We have a similar story. I mean, I grew up in a alcoholic father, did the same thing. I mean, I was very, humor was my thing. Okay, so it was very, I was comical. I'm trying to make jokes and, be there for people and overly empathize. So I could see myself doing this even in my relationship with my husband. I'm not saying my husband is a wonderful man. Please understand people make some mistakes.
Right.
And I'm not alluding to any of those mistakes. I'm just saying people make mistakes and things shift and reality happens. And to some degree, we do know, like you said, in your heart of hearts, it's not right. We know it's not right.
Yeah.
But we still keep going because life has to happen. Because if anything remotely tells me that my life is not what it is, I'm not going to be able to exist. Wow. And I think at that point in time, like, it was hard for me to get out of the bed in the morning. It was hard for me to put one foot in front of the other. It was hard for me to drive down the street without this overwhelming desire to run off the road.
Wow. Yeah, because it was just so hard.
It was hard. And that's not something that, the thing that I really like now is that mental health is coming up a lot more than it was before. But even then, this is, what is that, 2016?
Not that
People
long ago.
Still weren't like openly discussing, hey, I'm having struggles. So I felt I had to keep that to myself and just like really, really work on that.
Wow. Internally. That is so true. Yeah. A lot of people, I'm so happy you said mental health, because that's one of my, I'm a huge advocate for that. That's what Girl Talk represents. Yeah. For trying to bridge the gap between mental health and spirituality, because so many people don't realize that just because you love Jesus and you love God, that you can't get a therapist. You absolutely can.
Absolutely can.
Like, he created the mental health professionals. He gave those people the ability to connect with other folk. And so they're not here to like try to replace your relationship with God, but only to cultivate it. Just like a pastor does, or a minister or evangelist. They help cultivate your relationship with God. And I think a mental health therapist can do just that, help you cultivate and give words to what may be happening to you. Yes. Because you may not know you're depressed. You may not know you're struggling with anxiety. You may not know that, that you have trauma, that's affecting you in these type of ways, unless somebody gives you clarity and gives you words to what's happening to you. So I just love it that you bring that up. And so what does acceptance look like? Because I know some people say, they do different things in lieu of saying, oh, this is a segue to me accepting this situation, is by saying, oh, I'm accepting this, so I'm just going to let them run all over me. And you mentioned a little bit about that, but can you kind of give us a picture of what it looks like to in a healthy way, bring in acceptance for yourself?
So, as I told you, like, Relationships Matter started out because I had this crazy friendship with somebody that I couldn't reconcile it. I mean, no matter what I did, I I called, I text, I sent messages through other people. Hey, look, we've got to get this sorted out. This is not okay. Like, life should not, we shouldn't allow this to happen. Both of us believe that love is preeminent, right? Like, we need to walk in love with people. We need to be kind to people when they're not kind to us. We need to walk in forgiveness. We need to fix it, right? So I'm going through all this year and I'm trying to get it fixed. I'm on month number 8. I'm trying to get it fixed. Month number 9, trying to get it fixed. 10, trying to get it fixed. And then I have a conversation, and this conversation is really odd. And I realize that this can't be fixed. Yeah. So the reality of it is, this is somebody that I thought was very close to me, that was in my corner, that had my back, that wanted to be a part of my life just as much as I wanted to be a part of their lives. But for them, it wasn't as important as I thought it was. Right. So I'm expending myself trying to, I guess, maybe in denial. Like, I'm in denial to some degree that this is really over. Like, this petty situation broke this long relationship. You know what I mean? This long relationship. Like, how in the world can you get to this point, and I realized this person doesn't necessarily think that the relationship is as valuable as I think it is. And the only thing that I control is my response to how they're responding to me.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not a reaction, right? Because my reaction was, you keep pushing me away, but I'm coming because I'm trying to walk in love. That was my reaction. Yeah. But my response was, I accept the fact that you don't want this part of the relationship. I don't accept that you don't want me to be a part of your life anymore, that you don't want to be in fellowship and friendship with me anymore. Get that. I accept that. I accept the fact that we'll never hang out again or never spend time together again. I accept it. But I love you. I forgive you. I know this is how you are. I'm going to pray for you, but I'm going to move on.
Right.
All right.
Good.
I got to move on. I can't allow myself to continue down that pathway. So it wasn't, at that point, I had come out of passivity because in my denial, I was passive, right? And keep going. I was still letting this person run all over me, so to speak. I was expending myself for something that just was worthless. But when I came to myself and I said, okay, do I want to be treated this way? And it says, you teach people how to treat you. So if I'm expending myself for this person over and over and over and over and over again, I'm teaching them that I will love you no matter how you treat me.
And that's not true.
And that is not what I want.
Exactly. Wow. This is getting so good. Like, I had no idea this was going to go. I mean, I knew this is a good topic, but I didn't know that this was so personal to you because I know some people can relate to that, and I'm so happy that you were able to get out of that relationship.
Because, me too. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah, because I think it's dishonoring to yourself when you allow people in your life that way. And I had to learn that, it wasn't the Christian thing to do, to get dragged.
No.
Or to get used or manipulated or to get taken for granted.
Exactly.
When people don't see your value, you dismiss them, and it's okay to do that. And maybe not in an evil, vindictive, or payback kind of way, but then I need my mental space and I need my health to stay intact, and I can't allow you to violate me this way anymore.
Exactly.
And those are the strong conversations that I've had to have with people this year. It's so crazy that me and you've been on the same wavelength, but kind of in the same space. And going through the same thing. And I mentioned a story about my auntie that, obviously 30 years. I mean, I'm 35 years old, about to be 36. And, this has been my aunt,
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And my aunt has been like my second mom.
Yeah.
And here she is, basically betraying me. But you know what I found out? It was telltale signs the whole time.
Yeah.
This person was showing me over and over and over
exactly
who she was. But I could not for the life of me accept that my aunt would be this way to me.
Yes.
And you know what I used to do to people? I would do things that annoyed them or do things that I felt like was happening just to see if it would come out. Let me push you so you can show me the real you.
Yeah.
I would go in front of people and talk about my business to see what they would respond like, because I knew they was hating or I knew that they wasn't happy or whatever the case may be. I know I'm kind of hood, y'all. Sorry. But this is who I am. But I'm like, I know this girl is a hater. I know this chick is a hater, but I'm going to test her to see. I want to make sure before I make my move that I judge you the right way. Not judge, but I caught, I felt your vibe. I felt your energy. So I would say something about my business and then I would get that response. Okay, I knew. I knew. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Like, girl, I already knew you was hating.
Absolutely.
But I didn't really, I didn't want to accept it or maybe not want to come in to know that. And it's so much that you saying like, oh my God, girl, you hitting it on the head, like boom, boom, boom. Like, it's so good because that's what I was experiencing. And for many years, because I was a Christian, quote unquote, I could let people run me over and I'm supposed to forgive 70 times 70. And if they do that, slap this cheek, slap the other. But I don't think that that's what Jesus meant.
I don't think so.
Reread. I had to go back and reread and get a different type of understanding, because this cannot be the type of bondage that God wants me to live in for the rest of my life. So, but anyway, yes, ma'am. I'm so I had to bring it up, but I'll let you continue on with what you were saying with your story. You were talking about, I can't remember exactly where you left off, but you were talking about this friend and you finally said, hey, you gotta go.
Yeah, but I wanted to say something to what you were saying.
Go ahead.
I think a lot of times, with the forgiveness message, I think people intermingle forgiveness and trust. And I think that's the factor right there. Just because I forgive you doesn't mean I have to ever trust you again. Right? Right. And just because I don't trust you doesn't mean I didn't forgive you.
Right. Ooh,
right?
That's good. I like this. We got to put something in the chat.
Right?
Say that one more time for the people, because they are listening.
Okay. I said, so just because I forgive you doesn't mean I trust you. But just because I don't trust you doesn't mean I didn't forgive you. I forgave you, right? But I don't trust to have you in my space. I don't trust to have you in my, and I think this may be the Christian thing. I don't trust to have you in my space until you've dealt with you.
Exactly.
And then once you deal with you, then we can be friends all day long. Right?
Come on in the room.
Yeah. You are welcome, right?
Yes.
But you got to deal with you. And I think this is also something, because I was talking to one of my healthcare professional friends, like you have them, to mental health friends. They're not, I mean, like therapists.
Right.
But I was talking to her and she said, Andrea, the thing that you don't understand is that people are not necessarily good. People have evil and impure motives.
Wow, they do. Yes.
They do. And she said, just because you don't have them doesn't mean other people don't. And just because we as Christians don't have them doesn't mean that other Christians don't.
Wow. I love this. Yes.
So we're looking at, we're saying, okay, well, I know this person, this doesn't necessarily have a like faith. I know they don't really like me because I'm a person of faith. But here, my friend keeps devaluing me. She keeps criticizing me. She keeps saying all these negative things about me, just kind of like nitpicking.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting somewhere with a person, and then they were like, I love you so much, but you lie a lot. And I was like,
what?
Huh?
Right.
I call that a backhanded compliment, right? Seriously?
This. You are reaching to the choir. Like, I am literally right here with you.
I was shocked. I was like, are we friends? Like wow.
Wow.
Okay. And then I tested it out some more. Like I went out a couple more times with this friend, and it kept happening. Like they would say really nice things, accompanied by some really negative things. And I felt really crummy when I left their presence.
Yes.
It was horrible. And I was like, okay, so now that I understand that I don't necessarily have to accept this from people, I don't want this person treating me that way. I don't want them in my space.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things is we want to tell people, okay, did you know that you had these qualities about you that are awful, that are demeaning, degrading? Like, did you know that you were, every time we went out, you were criticizing me? If that person is not ready to hear it, it's going to be worse. They will unleash on you. You and your pure motives, trying to help people, trying to be a blessing, trying to say, hey, maybe nobody told you this, but this is how you are. I hate it. Most other people do.
Right. I don't like you. She don't like you.
Yeah. That's why nobody comes close to you. Just saying. But, if they're not ready to hear it, they won't. Right. And then they'll turn around and what does it say? Don't cast your pearls before swine, because if you do, they'll turn around and tear you up.
Exactly. Oh my God. Listen, this is so real because, people are not, and, just like you just said, let me go tell her. Because it's no way that she knows that she's treating me like this. It's no way that she's this evil and mean and vindictive and a hater like this. There's no way people can be born with this type of hate in their heart and ill will toward me. Not me. I'm so sweet and nice. I'm trying to help all these people. There's no way that this chick can feel this way about me or this guy, because I've had men be mean to me too for no reason. So, I go and address the people in love too. Like, really, just like, it's no way. And people are like, girl, she don't like you. My sisters, they even more hood than I am. Girl, she don't like you. When we need to go knock her head off, what's up? Type of attitude. I'm like, no, it's no way. She just like that. She was raised like that. She couldn't possibly be doing that to me on purpose. I'm gonna go and talk to her in love and show her the love of Christ and let her know, hey sis, you kind of rude, that's me. I need to let you know that you fake and that's not right. You need to change the way you kind of do business with people and how you, show up in the earth. It's not okay. But they ain't ready to hear that. They don't want you to tell them that, because they're okay being mean and evil and vindictive, and people are like that. And I had to learn, just because you ain't like that or you're a good person don't mean the people that you interacting with are good people. And we literally just talked about this on our vision board call, and it's about covenant relationships and covenant partnerships. You have to get in covenant with people who love you and want to see you win, and not love you in a jealous, I'm looking at you from a distance kind of way, but in a love you for real, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna ride for you no matter what type of way. And that may not be your sister. That may not be your best friend that you've had all these years, because those people obviously been with you all along and they don't know the new you. They talking to the old you. They talking to the 2015 you. They don't know this new you that's determined to get to the next level, because you've outgrew them, and people have to accept that. And that's what I'm coming to the conclusion of. Either you're gonna grow up or I'm gonna outgrow you. Period.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you got me going. You got me on the road, sis. I love it. And I want to pivot a little bit into reconciliation. We talk a lot about acceptance and getting that, and how to accept and what acceptance look like. And it doesn't look like being ran over or mistreated is what you're telling me. I'm just kind of trying to sum this up. And then, and so when you accept that someone in some way, it's okay to make your move and take your exit, to bow on out. Like, respectfully, I'm going to leave. And sometimes disrespectfully, I got to go. Like, I cannot allow you to tear me down this way. And so I think that's when we start going into that reconciliation. Now I'm reconciling myself. Even if you're not with me in this reconciliation can still happen. So talk a little bit about what reconciliation is and how would one go about getting to that point?
So reconciliation, I think there's some components that you really have to have when you're reconciling. Number one, you have to have honesty. Ooh. Right? I can't reconcile with you if you don't believe that what I'm saying to you is true. Right.
Wow.
We can say that in the world, but that we see now, what I mean? If we just can't get to the bottom of like what happened in the relationship, then we're not going to be able to reconcile. And let me jump back to my relationship with my husband. That was one of the things that we had to come to an agreement of. We had to be wholeheartedly honest with each other. His honesty with whatever we were dealing with, and then my honesty in responding to whatever we were dealing with. So say he brought something to me and I'm just like, I hate it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Before I would take it because I was like, okay, I got to be a submissive wife. I can't really tell him, what I'm thinking. And I can't tell him, that he's wrong. And I can't tell him that he keeps making bad choices. I can't tell him he's really mean and I don't want to introduce him to people in public.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Wow.
Right. But then when we got to the place of, okay, I accepted the fact that our relationship wasn't there, it was time for reconciliation. So I said, okay, look, you have to allow me to be as honest as I need to be, even if it hurts your feelings. And I want you to be that honest with me.
Wow.
Right. And then we have to be talking about the same thing. The same thing.
Yeah.
Because I may think the issue is one thing and he thinks it's something else, and we're going at each other we're not even on the same page. So you got to be honest about what really happened and be talking about the same thing, right?
Yes.
And then the next thing is I've got to acknowledge my part in what happened. So I had to acknowledge where I was at the whole time. Yeah, this reality hits me. My marriage is not what I think it is. But then I have to acknowledge, well, how did I let it get this far?
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Because normally when we feel like we've been wronged or right, somebody's done something to us, they're evil, not saying my husband's evil. I was not saying that. But they're evil or they have malicious motives. We see ourselves as victims.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. We had no control over, we're completely innocent in the situation. I just can't believe they did that to me. And, all that. At that moment, we have to self-check. Did I play a part in the situation?
Right.
Right. And then once you acknowledge the fact that you've played a role or haven't played a role, because you may just be completely innocent. Maybe this person is just a jerk.
Right. Just a psychopath. Yeah. Why are you harassing me? Yeah.
They have all these issues, right? Then at that point, then you can say, okay, I've acknowledged it. You've acknowledged it. Now we can talk about what moving forward looks like. I forget. Oh, sorry. I skipped a step. Forgiveness. So I acknowledge it. I forgive, and then we got to move forward. But we can't move forward in the way that we have been, because what we have been got us to the place of a divide.
Yeah.
We've got to take new steps forward. Now, if you're doing that alone, you've got to be honest about the situation, the other person's part, that they have a choice on whether or not they want to be a part of the relationship, a part of your business, a part of, your church. You know what I mean?
Because I walked out on a couple churches. Right? Yeah, especially this year. Wow.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
I'm saying.
Yeah, had to go. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you got to be honest about that. You got to be honest. Okay, this may not necessarily work out. So I'm accepting the fact that may not work out. And then what's your part, in that? And then once you can get to the place of understanding your part of that, I think you can move forward. But that's reconciliation with yourself and that particular situation.
I think that's so good. I like that, what you said. I like you, even when you're in that by yourself and you said about accepting your part, because I think we demonize the enemy, right? That's the enemy. She's mean, he's mean, he did that. And you demonize, you weaponize that person, and that is the enemy. And a lot of times you may be completely correct, but even if you're small, even if your role in that is an enabler,
yeah,
he never was mean or yelled, but you allowed it to happen to you. You kept showing back up at his house, even though he was abusive, mean to your kids, or whatever the case may be. If they, showed you every red flag and you tucked them all in the drawer. Let's get all these red flags.
I like that.
Them all in my drawer. I don't see none of this. You're still guilty because you enabled them to do all the things that they did to you. So you still played a role. And I think we like to wash our hands and play the innocent role. Like, oh, I didn't do anything. Yes, you did. You may not have done anything that they did, but you still allowed them to do you the way they did you. Because if you were not present in it, it wouldn't be anything happening.
Exactly.
And so even if you have to acknowledge your role as an enabler, I think we all need to take responsibility how we move in the earth and what happens to us and what we take in. And I definitely had to learn that lesson this year. And I'm like, well, if I'm completely innocent and I've tried everything I could with this person and I'm still going to lunch with them, I'm still picking up the phone when they call. I'm still liking their Facebook post or sharing their stuff or engaging with them as if we're friends, and I don't have a problem with how they treat me, because sometimes we don't give the person a fair shot. Because we haven't even presented anything to them. You haven't said anything. You've gone, and then you say something like, well, I didn't even know. Like, you didn't even say nothing. Well, you didn't, because you were going to lunch with them, hanging out with them, going on movie dates or whatever the case may be, and the person's still treating you like crap. So you enabled them. And now you mad in the corner. Well, sis, you went to the movies with her. What did you expect? And she, slept with your boyfriend or whatever. That's the extreme case. But That's an extreme case, but that actually happens. People do that too. But
Yeah.
I was just using that for prime example. But absolutely, you have to accept that you allow these people in your life to kind of wreak havoc, and then forgive yourself. So while you're forgiving that person, and you forgive yourself and begin to rebuild your own trust for picking people, because sometimes when people do us wrong, you like, I can't even trust myself, because last time I got out there and picked a husband or a boyfriend or a friend, this is what they did to me. Exactly. So now I don't even trust my own judgment at this point, because last time I let myself go to let my guard down, this is what happened. Yeah. So you got to forgive yourself too. So I like, I like that direction that you're going with that. So yeah. And then with reconciliation, kind of bring together, and I know that I didn't put this in, the questions, but kind of build a bridge for me between acceptance and reconciliation. Show me that picture, or talk to us about what that picture looks like when it's all full circle, when you've accepted and you reconciled.
So you have to have strength to accept, right? First and foremost, you got to see what's right in front of you, because if you're in denial, you'll never get to a point of reconciliation, because you won't think that there's anything that needs to be fixed, right? So if I accept the fact that this situation has happened, I see the truth behind the situation, all of it's exposed, I've taken the red flags out of the drawer, now they're laid out in front of me, right? And I'm looking at them and I'm saying, okay, this is an issue. I need to move forward, right? And it's with someone else. I've got to take this to this person and say, hey, these are the things that I see, and this is what's happening. What I'm seeing is happening. And you give them an opportunity to either say, I'm sorry, or curse you out.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you bring the truth to the table. This is the real truth.
Exactly. So if that person sees these red flags and they are honest and they say, you know what, I've had some other people say that to me. I don't necessarily want to be at that place, so let's work on it. Then you won a friend, a husband, a boyfriend, or whoever. But if you have the person, you bring this to this person, they get mad. And then they start blaming you. So, like, here's a term that I don't know that a lot of people use: gaslighting. You've heard of gaslighting?
I've heard of it. Yes, ma'am. Please talk about it.
So basically, you bring something, somebody has like done some really devious stuff. So, like, you're talking to a friend and they're hating on you. And you're like, why are you doing that? What am I doing? And they'd be like, well, why are you hating on me? Well, you hating on me because you said this and this and this and this. Well, basically, they're trying to make you forget what they've done and change your reality to accept the reality that they're providing for you.
Wow.
Right? And a lot of people are masterminds at this. Because if you care about people, if you have empathy at all, if you forgive at all, people like this will use this against you.
Yes.
Now, I hate to make it like this, but it really is kind of a situation where people are looking for prey.
Yes, they prey on these type of folks.
Yeah. Yeah, they're looking for prey and they don't like honesty. So if you bring it to the forefront and they put the blame on you, then there's no opportunity for reconciliation.
Yeah, none at all.
None.
And you think at that point when you decided, hey, this is not going to work for me, I'm going to have to leave this relationship. How do I healthily, how do I, with health, for my mental health, keeping that intact, make my exit? How do, because I know people have made some crazy exits these days. We've seen Facebook play out with these things happen, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, how do I make a healthy exit out of these relationships? What kind of conversations, even, if we can go that deep, should I be having with folk when I'm making my pivot? Or even should I be talking at all?
So it just depends on the person. So, like I said, if it's a person that accepts what you have to say, then you can stay. But 9 times out of 10, if it's somebody that is really hating on you and has really malicious motives and is jealous, you know, you're not going to have a good exit, one that you're satisfied with, because this person doesn't have good exits with anybody. Their past is wrecked relationships. So if you look at their friends before or their girlfriends before, or you know what I mean, you're gonna see that it was all treacherous. It was all bad. It was horrible. Right? And they never ended the relationship in a good place. So you can guarantee that your relationship with this person is not going to be in a good place. It's not going to end on a good note. And there's going to be hurt feelings.
100%. Wow. That's so good, because I think people think that, oh, I got to do something or I got to make a statement, when they can just, I'm done. Yeah. I'm not here to prove to you anything. I don't have to prove to my friends or that friend or anybody else. This is just where I'm at, and this is where I'm going to be.
Exactly.
So, I mean, to all you ladies listening, if you guys have any questions or comments, you got a lot of comments down here, by the way, sis. They're all over the place. I haven't even got a chance to read any to you, but people are saying, oh my God, I love this. Yes, we got clapping hands. Y'all are going in tonight. Amen. Good stuff. I can definitely relate. So, yes. So this topic was so needed. Yeah. And I mean, for me personally, just getting to the place where I can say to myself or say to you or anyone else that, hey, I'm okay with losing relationship. Because this is coming full circle to me. Because first I cut people off and I didn't care, and then I went back to the thing where I gotta go gather them back up, because this is not Christian. This is Lucifer. He must be telling me to cut all these people off and be mean and just be the boss hog Nora that don't care about anybody. But I was turning into someone that I was not, right? Because I was trying to make myself hard and mean like the other mean people that were coming after me, and I wanted to be mean and vindictive and not because I was that way, but to protect myself from the people who were that way. Yeah. But I found myself, that was not who I was. So I wanted to pivot back to who I am as a person. And I wanted to free myself of all that and still be individually me. So I don't have to care or need to prove to anybody or anything. If I cut you off, you cut off. It's done. I told you before, because I've never cut nobody off without telling them why I was cutting them off. Yeah. I gave them ample amount of time to change or to begin, because, I think it was maybe Tyler Perry, who talked about, if people show, it had to be Maya Angelou, but Tyler Perry, when people show you who they are, believe them. Yes. Okay. So if people showing you that they mean and they vindictive and they're evil and they don't have any good spirit towards you, you are to act. Yes. Not sit by passively and allow this to happen to you, hoping it'll go away. Well, if I ignore it, or if I ignore her or ignore him, it'll go away. No, it's not going away. It's going to intensify, because every time you ignore it, you're giving them more position. That basically said you have endorsed it. Ignoring stuff is endorsing it. It right? is. And so I've endorsed your behavior. I've clapped for your behavior. I may not physically have done it, but basically I did. And I used the Trump example. I know that people may support Trump if they own her. Y'all already know I don't. So here we are. But, basically, if you clap for him and you endorsed him, you've endorsed his evil side too, because you can't separate those two. People are who they are, Oh, I like this policy and I don't like that. Okay, I hit kids, but I give them a sucker afterwards. It don't matter. You're a child abuser. You have to take the person at face value. I can't say, oh, he gave him a sucker after you pushed him down. I'm still a child abuser. You are. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes, so I get it. It's just been so good, and you've brought so many points home. But I just want really folks to know, like what you said, sis, like it's gotta come full circle. So do you have any other thoughts, and go ahead and share them on this topic for the ladies?
I do. You had mentioned something a little earlier about trauma. Yes. Trauma is our upbringing, the things that we observed that our parents did that were not necessarily healthy, growing up in a certain type of environment that wasn't healthy. All of that follows us throughout our lives. Yes. And what we don't realize, I heard this man speaking on familiar spirits, because I was trying to figure out why I kept going so hard for this friendship. Well, it ended up being that like it was similarities to my childhood and upbringing and what I had been exposed to. So when I finally got the reality of who this person was, I started seeing similarities in all these other people that had been in my life. And all these other people that I had enabled, all these other people that I had passively sat by and helped or didn't say anything and let them mistreat me over and over and over again, or let them play mind games or gaslight me and all these other things. It did come full circle. And I was able to say, oh, okay, I get that. That was trauma. That was a trauma response. So if you don't trust yourself, you said this earlier, and I thought this was so awesome because in this friendship that I was chasing after, I didn't trust myself. I let somebody else make that decision for me. And then I accepted it. And it ended up turning out horribly. So you got to deal with the trauma, even if it hurts, because truth, being honest is painful. You know, people say the truth will set you free. Yeah, but the truth can be ugly. And it can be painful, and it can give you a black eye, break your teeth. I mean, it can do a whole lot of stuff to you. Yeah. Right? But you got to get brutally honest. And sometimes you have to venture into those traumatic places. Yeah. Those unwanted places, those places that you blocked out. Sometimes you got to venture there to say, okay, I'm okay now. Yeah. I'm not this person anymore. Yeah. I make better decisions. I have healthier boundaries. And that's what you're saying. You're not saying that I'm cutting people off. You're saying I'm creating a boundary around myself to say, this person can only go so far. And then now I've got people that love me, that nourish me, that build me up, that are close to me. And those other people on the outside.
Exactly. Yes. I like that. I really do. I like boundaries. Which we could go on all day. Like, I feel like this will lead into boundaries. This will lead into acceptance, obviously self-acceptance. Because it's just so much we could go on to say, and and even talking about self-worth. Exactly. Being worthy, like I feel worthy of good relationships, that I deserve a good relationship. And I was speaking to my younger sister the other day about this subject. I might as well say it. I know we at 8:00, but just being worthy, because sometimes you get into a relationship with people and they treat you bad, but you think maybe this is karma. You know, maybe you cheated on somebody in a previous relationship, right? Or you were mean to somebody, or you may have been a bully in high school, or you did something in childhood that you're not proud of. And then someone turns around and they're mean to you and they're not right to you, but you love them anyway. You think in your head, well, this is a payback for how I was in my past. So I'm going to let them get away with all of this because this is a part of my karma. This is real thought process for folks. Yeah. And people have to really realize that people cannot pay you back. Whatever you did, you forgive yourself and you let that go. You don't leave it up to anybody else to tell you, okay, I've had enough pain and I'm paid back for all the stuff that happened to me. Now I can let this go. No, ma'am. Yeah. And sometimes I would do that too. Maybe I wasn't friendly to her at first, or friendly to another girl that before I met this girl, or maybe I didn't do something right there. And this is why this is happening to me now. I'm getting my payback. Yeah. I think, I don't know that this is an everybody process, but I know it's very rampant in the African American community. And that is a lot of my audience. So I want to speak on that to you ladies. Like, that karma thing, that back and forth thing, that game that you playing with your emotions, stop playing that game. Please stop. I did that and now this is what's happening to me now, so I got to take this. No, you don't. Or I had these kids when I was a teenager, so this is what I deserve. I knew he wasn't going to help me with these kids anyway because I had the kids out of wedlock. I should have married him anyway, so he's not helping. So I thought this was going to happen. No, you deserve a man that's going to treat you right and help you. Yeah, you had those kids young. Who cares? You still are a woman. You still deserve respect. Yes. Stop trying to let people pay you back. That's just my message. I know I'm on a soapbox. It ain't got nothing to do with a lot of what we're talking about, but it kind of ties in, I think. It does. But people need to realize, like, they're not God. They're not here to pay you back and judge you and give you limits on what you can and cannot do with yourself. Yeah, you had that baby young. Yeah, you made some mistakes. Yeah, you did this and you did that. But it's not up to people to pay you back. You don't have to accept any and every old thing that comes in and out of your life. You are worthy.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So you are worth it.
Exactly.
And you matter.
100%. But anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate everything you said. It was all so good. I feel like I could go on for another hour probably and I wouldn't even blink. But I appreciate you. And so tell the ladies where we can find you at on all social medias and how we can stay in touch with you.
Okay, so Relationship Matters 2020, Relationships Matter 2020 Facebook page. Have a page, and then there's a private group that we have on Instagram at RMD underscore. I'm sorry, RM20_02. Yeah.
We'll put it in the comments.
I'll put it in the comments. And then I have a Facebook page where I send out blogs every bi-weekly. I was doing it pretty often, but blogs at relationshipsmatter2020.com. And then we have a YouTube page, Relationships Matter 2020.
Awesome. I love it. This was so good, sis.
Yeah.
I hope that people really can glean from what you said and really start to cultivate acceptance for themselves and reconciliation and understand that you might have to be in that thing. That's the biggest takeaway for me tonight, is that you got to be in that thing by yourself sometimes. And even if you are taking someone in there, that they have to be accepting of the reconciliation. You can't say, okay, I'm fixing this with you and we're good. We good, right? No, they not. They still don't like you. But so it's gotta be definitely an agreement that takes place, that we're ready to reconcile, that there was a problem, and an acknowledgement. First an acknowledgement, like you said, and then an acceptance of, hey, we gotta do something about it, and then an actual act. An action has to take place. You can't say, oh, I heard what you said and I accept it, but I'm gonna keep doing what I was doing last year. No. We need some action. And I think that's the most important step, is when they start to really make that action, that change, and that you begin to feel that reconciliation and you begin to really walk into it. Because I mean, you can know all day. I can tell you all day you're a jerk, and then you go back and be a jerk again to me tomorrow. Yeah. But when they really reconcile and accept that, I think that we go to a next level. Yeah. But anyway, I know it's been good. I love you ladies. I hope to see you guys back again next week. And thank you again for coming on here with us. I loved it. Appreciate it. It was so good. And guess what? You will be back. I'm coming hunting for you again. Definitely come hunting for you again, because this is such a great topic. Yeah. We're getting ready to go into the vow, which is basically dating with a purpose for our single ladies. Nice. And so I definitely want to probably have you back in the month of February, so we can speak on something. I know you got, you've been married for 17 years, right? Yeah. It's been good. We try to get all in that business about 17 years to see how we can last. I'm only a 2 years in, but I was telling my ladies that I've been single. I was single for 30 years though, y'all. So I know a whole plethora of this single life. Like, I am no stranger to that, empty bed syndrome. That's what I call it. But we're bringing the vow, y'all. In February, we're bringing the vow. So y'all tune in for that. And hopefully we can have you back for that, sis. So, all right, ladies. Well, you guys have a great night, and we will see you guys next week. All right, ladies. Y'all have a good one.